So hey everybody, welcome back to Bow and Arrow Garage. So today I am working on the engine again. I am going to go ahead and try to get it running possibly today. I've got a lot of work ahead of me. So most of the work is the stuff that takes a really long time to do, and I got a late start in the day. I had some other things that I had to do that were way more important than working on the truck. So I don't know how close I'm going to get to getting it started, but I'd really like to get to that point today. But anyways, I got a lot of little stuff that I've got to change over, like I said, so I'm going to go ahead and get to work on it. I'm going to get the valley cover installed on it, and then I'm going to try to get the intake on, get the exhaust manifolds on, and just get all the wires hooked up and get all the lines hooked up and see if I can potentially get started today. So we're going to jump on it, and we'll see where we get. So today is a new day, and it's the day to get this engine running. So I've got a lot of things accomplished off camera. The last thing I'm going to be doing is installing the intake manifold. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what I'm going to be using. Hopefully today we'll have time to get this thing started up. I don't think it'll be back on the road today, but I want to get the engine cranked up and see where we're at. So here we go. So the first thing I wanted to show you is I'm going to be using these Felpro Perma-Dry Plus intake gasket manifolds. Unlike the old plastic clip-on type of gaskets, these have a locating tab that sits over the head bolts. So the only concern I have is, and I couldn't find any information on it, is I have ARP head bolts, not studs, but bolts. And I'm not sure if they're exactly the same height. So I put the other side on already. They don't really want to seem to go down any further. And so I'll show you, you place it over the locating tab there and kind of push them down. And they kind of seem to, there's a little step here in the head, and they barely seem like they want to go down far enough to clear that step. But I think they're good, so I'm going to go ahead and get the intake. We'll get it set up and we'll get it installed. Okay, the other thing I'm going to be doing is using these new bolts to install the manifold. And the reason being is, when I pulled the other one off, the seals here were torn pretty badly. And so, depending on what you read, some people say that they're reusable, some people say they're not. When I did the engine swap 6 years ago, I did reuse them, and the reason being is because I couldn't find these. When I said couldn't find them, I could find them, but the price was ridiculous. And I had the same issue today. I couldn't find them. I actually talked to Felpro about maybe designing a new seal, so you could just replace the seal on it. So they said they were going to take it to the higher ups and see if they were going to do it. But whatever the case may be, whether they do or not, I actually found these, and everybody wants to sell the bolts only, and with the gasket already installed. So I was going to order them on eBay, but I wanted to get this done today. I checked with the dealership, and they wanted $12.39, I believe it was, for each bolt, and you required 10 of them. So it was going to get up to about $130, a little over actually, with tax and everything. But what they don't tell you is they actually have a kit, and the kit has 5 bolts, so you need 2 of the kits, but the kits sell for 26 bucks each. So for basically half the price, you can get a full set with new gaskets and everything, and I absolutely had to have them. So I've got the new bolts with the new gaskets on them. The old ones are going in the trash, and I'll go ahead and get this thing installed. All right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and install the new intake manifold gasket. It actually looks like there's a piece of trash in there, so let me see just where the gasket sits. Maybe part of the casting, but I want to make sure. Yeah, it's just part of the casting. All right. So I love the new gaskets on these LS engines as opposed to like the old small block Chevy gaskets. I've probably talked about them before. The only thing I don't like is the price, because I guess for the better technology you have to pay a better price, and that's kind of part of it. But before I continue on, I want to give you guys the part number of the bolts for the intake manifold gasket, the kit that you can buy at the dealership. I'm trying to get it to focus. I don't know if it is or not, but it's an 8901 7368. It's a bolt kit for the intake manifold. So it's an 8901 7368. And like I said, it's each kit is about $26 each, and so a total of 52 bucks. To me, it's money well spent. Alright guys, I think I finally got everything hooked up. I'm going to go ahead and go get a new battery for the camera, do a couple of things real quick, and then I'm going to come out and I'm going to get this thing cranked over. All I have left is to install the battery basically, and then obviously the radiator and the cooling system once I get to that point. But right now, the whole goal is to get this thing cranked over, get the oil pressure built up, and then we'll go ahead and hook up the fuel pump relay, and we'll get it started. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and crank this thing over, see if I can get oil pressure to build up. Once I do, I'll plug in my fuel pump relay, check for leaks, and then we'll see if we can crank it. So that time, it did not build pressure while I was cranking it, but when I shut the key off, it jumped up to about 25. I actually do think it's good because when I release the key, the pressure jumps up. So it's probably something to do with the draw on the battery or the starter. The starter draw on the battery while it's cranking. But once I release the key, it jumps up to about 25. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in the fuel relay, and we'll go ahead and prime it and make sure we have no leaks. Alright, so I'm going to turn on the key, let the fuel pump run. Alright, it's primed. Make sure my injectors aren't leaking. And make sure my fuel supply is not leaking. Alright, I'm going to give it a shot. Alright, we have good oil pressure. Looks like everything's good. Everything sounds good. No leaks. I'm going to shut it down because I don't have to get a cooling system hooked up. Alright folks, that was the sound of success right there. Alright, she's idling just about 30 psi on oil pressure, and we're idling about 600 RPMs, which is good. I'm just putting water in the radiator right now. I'm putting fresh water in. I'm going to run it for a couple of days with just water in it, and then I'll drain it out, flush everything out, and then I'll put antifreeze in it. Alright, the thermostat is opened up now. So we still have a little air, a couple air pockets coming out. Like I said, I'm going to be draining in here in a couple of days anyways. This is just a initial flush So hey everybody, it's a different day. I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. The important thing is we got the engine running, but now I need to get it tuned. And I was going to have my friend do it for me, but I decided I wanted to go ahead and try to do it myself for the channel. But I'm going to have to buy HP tuners, so I'm going to get that on order, and when it comes in, I'm going to try to walk through the process. And I've seen a lot of videos of people doing it themselves, but nobody really shows a clear and concise kind of a methodology to it. So it might take me a little while because I'm going to try to break it down and explain it clearly once I do it. I've never done it before, so and I know there are a lot of different things that you can do. There's a lot of things you can do wrong, and that's actually a warning when you buy HP tuners. They're like, be very, very careful. If you don't know what you're doing, you could destroy your engine. But I don't think I will. I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna kind of try to walk through it very slowly and methodically, and address the issues that need to be addressed, and not get caught up in the things that I don't need to. So anyways, like I said, once I get the HP tuners in, we'll try to walk through the process, and hopefully I can make it clear and explain to everyone what I'm doing. And hey, if you ever decide to do it yourself, maybe it'll help you to figure it out. So with that being said, I want to say thank you all for joining me again, and look forward to seeing you next time.